It's Saturday night in Las Vegas, and Oregon State and Pepperdine have been waiting all day to do battle for the right to advance to play Santa Clara in the quarterfinals of the West Coast Conference Tournament. And hello and welcome. I'm Davis Hagen alongside Josiah Frank, and we're thrilled to have you with us for this presentation of WCC Conference Tournament Basketball on KUGR, and we should have a fantastic night filled with basketball. First game of the night, Pepperdine and Oregon State, and then Washington State and LMU to follow. And Josiah, this is a game that a lot of people thought was going to be Portland versus Oregon State, and about halfway through that game, it really felt like it was going to be Portland versus Oregon State. And then Pepperdine goes on an absolutely crazy run to finish out that game. They were down by as much as 14 points against Portland, and then they stormed all the way back and ended up beating Portland by 13. And so here they are today to take on the Oregon State Beavers. And Josiah, the big story of that game was Mo Odom, the point guard for the Pepperdine Waves. And what did you see yesterday from Mo Odom that really stuck with you?
Yeah, Davis. I mean, Mo Odom is definitely a gamer, and he really stepped up. He was the captain of the ship for the Waves. Yeah, Mo Odom in the first half, we really didn't see, what we would see in the second half. He was facilitating the offense, being a point guard, trying to get people shots and plays. But I don't know what happened in the water, what was in the water for Pepperdine for the second half. But Mo Odom went off. It was 3 after 3. It was finding his shots with step back, mid-range jumpers. He was just getting to either the cup, or he was scoring off the ball. And whatever it took to get Pepperdine not only to leading in the second half, but to a commanding 13-point lead. And yeah, Mo Odom is definitely going to be the highlight, and definitely we're going to be watching him this game.
Odom had a double-double with points and assists, 31 points and 11 assists. That's the 5th time this year he's had a double-double with points and assists, and he is being announced right now for the Pepperdine Waves, and he's wearing a shirt that says whatever it takes, and he did whatever it took yesterday to get by the Portland Pilots. They were up for 33 minutes of the game was Portland, and then Pepperdine outscored them 41-28 in that second half, and it was just an obliteration, really. Pepperdine got absolutely everything to go. They went from 34.5 field goal percentage in the first half to 47%. Almost half of their shots went in the second half, and they were just an absurd shooting team. And here they are this evening against the Oregon State Beavers, who are the 5 seed coming into this tournament in the WCC for the first time this year. Also, like Washington State, is an affiliate member this year, and so their first year in this conference, and they get that double bye to Saturday, just like Washington State, but they are the 5 seed instead of the 6 seed. So Oregon State's had a really fantastic year, coming in 20-11 and 10-8 in conference. This is their best season since 1989 and 90 as far as record goes, where they were 22-7. So, Josiah, what does this Oregon State team have to do? Their best strength is getting to the free throw line, but what can they do against this Pepperdine team that might be coming in red hot?
I think what they have to do, Davis, especially on the defensive side, is slow down Mo Odom and the rest of the Pepperdine crew, not allowing them to get hot. And for the first half, Portland did that. The Pilots did an amazing job of kind of keeping the reins in on the Waves on the defensive side of the basketball. But they had a commanding lead, started to let up, kind of let their foot off the gas pedal, and it really cost them, and eventually cost them a ticket to go back home to Portland. So I think if you're looking for the Beaver side of things, you really need to focus on the defensive side of the basketball and really gain a lead quickly. Would love to see, for the Oregon State side, to love to see get Pepperdine into foul trouble early and send people to the free throw line, start scoring points, and then once you're ahead, kind of biting on the neck, so to will, and not letting up. So I think those are going to be the biggest keys for them.
Yeah, Pepperdine is definitely a team that cannot afford their players and their star players to get eliminated from this game by getting too many fouls. And I think that that's going to be something that's such a key for this game, is going to be foul trouble for either Pepperdine or Oregon State for that matter. But the Beavers do shoot the free throw really well. They lead the WCC in free throw makes and free throw attempts. They average 16.4 points from the free throw line per game. And that's a really good stat for them, because you get the points without any defense on you, and you get the points with no time coming off of the clock. And so we are really close to getting ready to roll between Pepperdine and Oregon State, as both teams have had their starting lineups announced. And Josiah, I just want to ask one more thing. The post play should be a really good matchup today. Parsa Fala, the second team all WCC, against Bukar Koulibaly, who's also a really good post player. Had a really good second half yesterday. Not as good of a first half, but he was dunking the ball all over the place. What do you kind of think that big man matchup is going to look like today?
As someone that is also maybe considered a big man, I'm 6'6" myself. I love watching the bigs battle into the paint, in the post, and looking at Bukar Koulibaly, he's standing at 6'10", 225. And then on the flip side for the Beavs, looking at Parsa Fala, the 6'9", 260 Iranian athlete. We're going to have a great matchup between the two of them tonight, and we are going to find out kind of how this matchup really will kind of play out. Both of them kind of on the taller side, but I think it could be maybe a game of the big. So we will definitely see.
It should be a really, really good matchup, and we'll get the starting lineups for the Pepperdine Waves. Mo Odom, Stefan Todorovic, Bukar Koulibaly, Butka and then Dozic rounding out these starting lineups. And then for Oregon State, they got DeMichael Meyer, Nate Kings, Layla Vicious, Michael Rataj, and Parsa Fala. This Oregon State team having one of their best seasons in a long time. And that is also an Oregon State team that went to the Elite Eight just a couple of seasons ago. They're led by head coach Wayne Tinkle, and Pepperdine led by head coach Ed Schilling. And we are underway between Oregon State and Pepperdine. And here we go with the winner to play in the quarterfinal against Santa Clara. That's tomorrow night. That'll be the matchup. But it's Oregon State that controls the first possession. And it's DeMarco Minor to Lolovicius on the outside, finding King on the right wing. Three-pointer is good. And Nate King starts with a three-pointer. And Oregon State 1 for 1 to start the game. And here comes the star of the evening yesterday, Mo Odom, who had a sensational second half, scored 5 points in the first half, then 26 in the second half against Portland. Top of the key to Dorovic, guarded by Rataj, who is first team all WCC, a really nice player for Oregon State. Inside to Koulibaly against Fala underneath, and this is the big man matchup we were talking about. And he has to try to pass that ball out, and Rataj ends up kicking it with his foot. So Koulibaly and Fala already going at it, and already a kind of a even matchup there.
Yeah, even for sure. With maybe the exception of a couple pounds on Fala's side, we might be able to get a really good matchup in the paint.
Odom to inbound from the baseline. They'll fire that out to DeMarco Minor, the point guard for the Oregon State Beavers. He steps into a three on the right wing, and that's pure for Oregon State. And a 6-0 start for the Beavers against the Waves.
Yeah, 2 quick back-to-back threes for the Beavs. Don't want them to heat up early if you're on the Pepperdine side of the basketball.
Koulibaly outside. That's not really his strength. He's way out by the three-point line. Passes it over to Dozic. Good cut from Todorovic to come get the ball from the other big man for the Pepperdine, Wades and Dozic. Todorovic really hounded by Rataj on the outside. They get it to Odom, their orchestrator. Kick it to Todorovic, and he did not realize that the shot clock was winding down, and it's a turnover by the Pepperdine Waves. And so Oregon State off to a hot start so far.
Yeah, and they're starting to get a little fired up too. I don't know if you noticed, Fall on that, fired up about a great defensive set, winding down the shot clock.
6-0 Oregon State, 18-15 to play in the first half. This is Kings on the outside, who's already got a three-pointer so far. Minor with the ball. He's also got a three-pointer. Rataj, top of the key, crossover to the left-hand side, driving down the baseline hard, off the glass, missed the shot. Rebound tapped around, Dozic controls for the Waves, and here they go the other way. Quick outlet to Odom, sizing up the defense, and a double team comes from Oregon State. They know that Odom is their guy to watch in this game. After yesterday's performance, they had a couple scouts in the building. Odom's got the ball, top of the key against Minor, point guard on point guard. Behind the back crossover, trying to find some space. And he gets the ball poked away by Minor, back into the hands of Odom. Todorovic comes to find it, and a fadeaway jumper in rhythm. Knocked it down, 6-2. The score, Pepperdine finally on the board.
We were looking all at Odom last game, but Todorovic, being the leading scorer for the Waves, we'll love to see him heat up even more, especially this game where it's win or go home.
Todorovic, an honorable mention, all WCC player, the leading scorer for the Pepperdine Waves, averages 18 points per game. Fala down low for the Beavers. Inside, reverse layup, no good. Off the rim, and a rebound way out to Lolovicius on the outside. And Oregon State will reset the offense. Double team comes with Fala down on the post. Bubkar, Koulibaly almost forced a turnover. Minor gets the ball, step back jumper, back rim, no good. And a foul is going to be called on the rebound opportunity. We'll see who this is on. Looks like it's going to be on Oregon State.
Beavers foul, 37. Lolovicius.
Lolovicius will pick up the foul for Oregon State. And the score holds at 6-2. The first foul of the game on Oregon State. 16:45 to go. 6-2. Oregon State has a lead, and an interception by Nate Kings, pushing the pace up the floor. Lost the control of the ball, and here comes Pepperdine. Mo Odom ends up with it. He was open for the three, but instead passes it to a wide open Butka, and the layup is good. Great look from Mo Odom.
Yeah, great side of, keeping composed, and the ball stolen on one end by Minor, but, coming back on the other end, just a great layup by the Waves.
Minor steps inside to Fala. Good find, and off the glass and in with the right hand for Fala. And it's 8-4 Oregon State. Couple of great point guards going at it in this game. Mo Odom really in the entire season has looked to others first. Yesterday was kind of a rare performance from him where he looked to get his own. And that's one big reason why Pepperdine is still alive in this tournament, is because he finally took it on himself to score for the Waves. He's got the ball on the outside, guarded by the massive Fala, finds Todorovic for a three, rattles out, and Oregon State pulls down the board. Still a four-point advantage for the Beavers. 15:40 to play. It's been a good start for the Oregon State Beavers. Kings will drive into the free throw line, kick it out. Lilovicius for three. That's good. And Oregon State has another three-pointer, shooting lights out so far from the three-point line. 11-4. Advantage Beavers. Odom, baseline drive, kick it out to Todorovic. She's open, firing a three. That's good. And Pepperdine has their first three-pointer of the game. Back and forth pace so far in this game. 11-7 the score.
A lot quicker than maybe we were kind of anticipating for a little bit. But it's been kind of three here, three there, especially on the Beef side.
Kings ball on the top of the key, guarded by Dozic, drives hard under the baseline, finds Fala inside, right hand, blocked by Koulibaly, but it's going to be a goaltending call. And that will bring us to the first media timeout of the game. 13-7 Oregon State. And Josiah, what have you liked so far from the Beavers on the offensive side?
Well, I'm definitely not surprised on one hand. Oregon State is a really good basketball school. With ultimately maybe one of their highlights of the season, beating Gonzaga just about a month ago at home in Corvallis. But, looking at this game, Oregon State, what they've done extremely well is really shoot the basketball, which, kind of is the name of the game of basketball. You got to get the ball in the hoop. And behind the arc, they have been exceptionally lights out. And it's kind of been from a little bit of a flurry of players. So if they can keep that up, continue to shoot extremely well, and not only that, continue to put the foot on the pedal and continue to kind of draw blood from the Waves, it could maybe be a long day for Pepperdine. But definitely don't want to count them out, because that's what we were kind of talking about yesterday. Then they came back and ended up beating Portland by 13. So it's really kind of never over for a team like Pepperdine.
13-7 advantage for Oregon State over Pepperdine, with the winner playing Santa Clara tomorrow night. We'll take a quick break at this media timeout. You're listening to WCC Basketball on KUGR. Oregon State with the advantage over Pepperdine. 14:55 to play in the first half. Davis Hagen alongside Josiah Frank for our first game of the evening here from the WCC tournament in the 2025 edition from Orleans Arena. The later game will be LMU and Washington State. That should be a fantastic game. But this one's been a good one so far. Oregon State shooting 3 of 4 from the three-point line. That's the big story so far, with 3 different players making a three as well. And so back underway after the media timeout, and Pepperdine turns it over. Fala has it out to Minor into the corner with Lilovicius, and he's going to size it up and end up passing it back out to Rataj. And he finds Minor, out near the WCC logo. 6-point advantage for Oregon State. The number 5 seed getting the double bye into this position of the tournament has had a really good season. Kings will drive in, spinning again, picking up his dribble, kicking out to Rataj, steps into a three-pointer right wing, and that comes up short, and a rebound for Todorovic, and he gets it to Odom, who snakes his way to the three-point line, firing for three in transition. Mo Odom with his first three-pointer made of this game, and that's his first bucket.
Yeah, and definitely what was very familiar yesterday. Don't want him to heat up because he can definitely get hot and get hot fast.
Definitely can get hot fast. It did not take very long. They scored 46 points in the last 12 minutes of the game. The first couple, possessions early on in the game were a lid were on the rim for both teams, Portland and Pepperdine, as Nate Kings knocks down a three-pointer for Oregon State. That's another three, and it's 16-10. Beavers. Todorovic will step into a three. He knocks it down. Who's going to miss first?
Yeah, this is kind of like an archery competition or something like that. We're just everybody's kind of shooting and kind of hitting the bullseye.
16-13. Pepperdine up to 3 threes. Oregon State 4 threes. Top of the key with Fala, the big man. Finds Miner on the right wing going against Odom. Has him turned around. Step back. Baseline jumper. Back rim. No good. Fala fighting for the offensive board, and it goes out of bounds on Parsa Fala, the big man for Oregon State.
Yeah, 6'9", 260, kind of running over into the photographer's row. Don't want him to kind of fall. That's for sure. But he can move pretty quick for that size and height.
Zion Bethea into the game for Pepperdine, as well as Isaiah Sy for Oregon State into the game, and Josiah Lake II in for the Beavers. So a couple new substitutions for both sides.
Great
16-13. Very good name with Josiah. Mo Odom drives to the paint and gets it to go off the glass. Mo Odom just not afraid of anything, and he's got to be feeling just on cloud 9 after last night's performance. Probably going to be riding that wave all the way through unless Pepperdine gets eliminated today. Josiah Lake passes to Josiah Lake to Rataj at the free throw line. Entry pass to Fala, and he gets the ball stripped away by Koulibaly. And it goes out of bounds off the baseline. And Rataj got a good find down low to Fala, and really good post moves from Fala, the Iranian. He's had a really nice season for Oregon State. Duke into the game for Pepperdine, and Mo Odom will take a seat on the bench. A well-deserved rest. I don't know how much rest he got yesterday. He was on the floor almost the entire 40 minutes. Kings gets the inbound pass and a rhythm jumper. That's too strong, and it goes out of bounds on the rebound attempt, and Oregon State comes up 0-4 on that possession. 16-15 advantage Beavers still, but Pepperdine hanging right around. Better start for Pepperdine than yesterday against Portland, where it took them a long time to get going. Butka's got it top of the key to Koulibaly. Back to Butka. Still searching for somebody to make some movement on this Pepperdine offense. Todorovic will come through and fire a three-pointer. That's good. Todorovic has kind of been hot so far in this game, a lot more so than yesterday's performance from Todorovic.
Yeah, and he's already got 11 quick and early, and we're not even halfway through this first half yet.
Yeah, Todorovic averages 18, and he's sitting in double digits with still 11 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Kings will get a corner three for Oregon State, and that's good again. Oregon State just relentless from the three-point line. 19-18, Beavers up by 1 against Pepperdine. 11:35 to play. Duke way outside, guarded by Josiah Lake. Todorovic against Rataj, gets the ball. Double team from Sy. Entry pass tapped away by Sy, and Kings almost had it on the deflection, but it goes out of bounds off his left hand, and it'll be Pepperdine ball after the media timeout. Josiah, this game back and forth so far with just a crazy amount of threes being made. Oregon State 5 of 7, Pepperdine 4 of 6. Both teams just shooting lights out so far.
Yeah, I mean, threes have definitely kind of changed the game. It definitely changed the game for Pepperdine in the previous game. And then for today, it's kind of been, like a shootout for both teams. And both teams have been firing and making their shot. So we'll kind of see on who kind of gets cold first. And that can maybe kind of be a deciding factor on who's doing well and who's going to maybe come out with a win of this game.
1 point lead for Oregon State against Pepperdine. We'll take another break at this media timeout. You're listening to WCC Tournament Basketball on KUGR. $15 of the 19 points from Oregon State so far in this game have come from the three-point line. They lead it by 1 point against the Pepperdine Waves, with both teams trying to advance to the quarterfinals to take on the Santa Clara Broncos. And that matchup should be fantastic. Whoever makes it out of this game to get to the quarterfinals against a really good Santa Clara team, that's going to be a really good matchup, Josiah. I think it should be fantastic the rest of the way through this tournament. It's already been a really good tournament so far, and all of the games just kind of ramping up and getting better as we go on. Entry pass from Odom to Todorovic on a cut to the rim, and Pepperdine is really good at these entry passes. They had a couple of alley-oops to Coulibaly yesterday. A foul is called on while Todorovic was going up to shoot, so he'll have 2 free throws, but continuing to make those cuts to the basket off those inbounds, and Mo Odom, just a really good passer. He's got great vision. Todorovic's first free throw is good, and that ties the game at 19. Todorovic started his career at SMU from 2021 to 2023 and then transferred to San Francisco, so he's not too unfamiliar with the WCC. This is his first season with Pepperdine, and he's had a really good season for the Pepperdine Waves. He knocks down the second free throw, and they've got a 1 point lead over Oregon State. A couple of lead changes early. Pepperdine and the Beavers going at it. Nate King's top of the key, guarded by Bethea. Finds Sai, right side, stepper, three-pointer, and that goes over the top of the backboard. He had a nice sidestep move to get open, but too strong off the bounce of the rim. Olvera will check in, and Todorovic will head to the bench for the Pepperdine Waves. He had a 13-point performance before his first stint on the bench, and Mo Odom will bring the ball up for the Waves. Hard drive to the basket, cross-court pass to Bethea. Couldn't handle it properly and didn't get a shot off. Pass out to Dozic, and they'll find Olvera way outside. Shot clock down to 10 seconds for Pepperdine. Cross court to Odom. Sizing up. Three-pointer. That's good. What a crazy shot from Mo Odom. Crossover between the legs. Sidestep three-pointer. And why not for Mo Odom?
Yeah, just a continuation of last night, and he's still feeling it.
Side, top of the key, guarded by Dozic. Finds Nate Kings on a back cut to the right wing. Drive in hard with the left hand. Spin in the lane. He's done that a couple of times. Left hand off the glass and in over the bigger Coulibaly. And Oregon State brings it within 2. 23-21 Pepperdine. 10 minutes to play in the first half. Exciting first half with a lot of orange in the crowds. Both teams do have orange in their color scheme, and Odom's pass goes off the bottom of the rim. Josiah Lake quickly the other way, and he gets fouled as he was driving towards the rim. And that's going to go on Bukar Coulibaly.
Yeah, Oregon State, I just wanted to mention their tempo right now, 338 in the country, which usually means you'd be pretty slow, but it looks to me just kind of in this game, their pace and their tempo kind of during this game has definitely been sped up for sure, and they're moving the ball extremely well.
They are moving the ball really well, and it's interesting to note how slow of a pace they play, but that does work in their favor a lot of times. And a foul on the inbounds, it's going to be on Oregon State, an offensive foul. Levichus picks up the foul on the illegal screen. New player in for Oregon State, Matthew Marsh, the 7'1" Brit into the game. He's from Cornwall, England. Dozic with it outside, finds Budka. Odom trying to cut free. Ends up with Olvera on the left side for Pepperdine. Crossing over against Josiah Lake. Under 10 seconds to shoot for Pepperdine again, and they haven't gotten anything towards the basket yet. Budka will drive hard, and he almost lost it. Left-hand circus shot, no good. And Oregon State clears, and here comes Josiah Lake quickly to their way. Cy in the corner, pump fake. And they'll find Levichus at the top of the key. Fired it over to DeMarco Minor, the point guard for Oregon State. He'll pull up at the free throw line and rattle one home, and the game's tied at 23. 9 minutes to play in the first half of action between Pepperdine and Oregon State. Buffet with the backdoor cut, wide open, and a right-hand layup is good. Good off-ball movement from Pepperdine. 8 minutes, 45 seconds to go in a back-and-forth battle with Pepperdine up by 2. Minor against Olvera, driving hard. Almost had the ball stripped, but he somehow finds a way to put it up. And a lot of hands scratching at the ball, and Minor puts it in. 25 all. Mo Odom the other way, snaking into the lane, kick it out for Budka. Driving hard inside against Marsh, and he gets fouled as he went to put it up. And so he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. As Fala will head to the scores table to check in. It'll be interesting who Wayne Tinkle will put out for Fala. Wayne Tinkle, very, very well-respected head coach in the Corvallis region. They were a little bit upset with him a couple years ago when they didn't have their best season, and then they went to the Elite Eight. They were a really low seed in the Pac-12 tournament, ended up storming all the way through, won the Pac-12, and it was a really crazy run. Budka misses the first free throw. And a crazy run to the Elite Eight. They beat Oklahoma State and Cade Cunningham. It's just such an amazing run for them, and it kind of cemented him to continue to stay as the Oregon State head coach for a couple of years when they were kind of calling for his job. But now they respect him and love him, and he's done a really good job at Oregon State. Budka's free throw is off the back of the rim, and Oregon State rebounds, still tied at 25. That Elite Eight run for Oregon State with Wayne Tinkle had his son Trace Tinkle on the team. That's something that Oregon State will remember forever, that amazing run from that Beaver squad. Minor on the left side. Oregon State and Pepperdine tied at 25. Minor crosses over into the free throw line. Pull up mid-range jumper is good. Excellent shot from DeMarco Minor. Budka running the floor, gets an outlet pass, and they almost call a double dribble. Dozic inside, gets fouled on the shot. Isaiah Sy was posting him up, and he gets called for the foul.
Yeah, what should have been a pretty much clear double dribble. A lot of Oregon State fans are pretty upset about that. Yeah. He grabbed it. He continued to dribble it off of the pass and then picked it back up and then put it on the ground again. And it was pretty obvious, but, officials make mistakes, and it's all good. We keep on moving.
Yeah, so Matthew Marsh ended up hitting the bench on that substitution for Fala. So Marsh, a 7'1" player, but doesn't have that much time once he got in there. He's right back on the bench for Oregon State, and that's an interesting thing to kind of watch and keep tabs on this Oregon State team that's got a couple of good post players, but they want Fala in there mostly. But how long will Matthew Marsh be able to spell Fala if he gets maybe tired or in foul trouble later in this game, going up against some pretty hot players in Pepperdine that hadn't had the best regular season? But the regular season, you throw out the records, you throw out the seedings in this tournament, they are playing really nobody gives them a chance. They're playing with a really good chip on their shoulder, and they're down just by 2 points with 7 minutes and 49 seconds to go, just down 27-25. And it kind of seems like a lot of that from yesterday is carrying over for Pepperdine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Mo Odom's still kind of leading the pack. I mean, Todorovic, still kind of the leading scorer for himself. But it's definitely Pepperdine kind of continuing what they were doing last night. And, they don't want to go home. That's what it's all about here. It's kind of survive and advance. And if you lose, it's pretty much a wrap for you. So, they're trying to continue win and, ultimately have a chance and a shot to try to have a shot at a national title.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of March. We talked about it yesterday, that any given team on any given day can have their moment in the sun, and the beauty of March is that any team will beat you, and it's almost a guarantee that if you're a great team coming in and you're a bad team coming into March, it's something crazy is going to happen. It's just almost inevitable, and we've seen a couple of crazy games already today. Alabama beat Auburn with a buzzer beater. There's a couple of games, Notre Dame and Cal, not in a conference tournament, but went to 4 overtimes. Crazy games going all over the place. Oscar Clough, former Washington State player, and his South Dakota State Jackrabbits, they went down to North Dakota and had a player score 51 points. And so just as soon as that calendar turns to the 3rd month of the year, just crazy things break out. And it's really fun to watch just as a fan perspective. And a lot of orange, as we mentioned, in this fan base here at Orleans Arena. And these fans are watching another crazy game kind of develop. It's been back and forth. The 3-pointers going in all over the place. It's just a wonderful time in March.
Yeah, there's a lot of miracles and prayers that kind of go up in March, and stuff just happens that does not happen for the rest of the regular season. And it's kind of like when the eye shifts on the college basketball world. The NFL, ended, and, other sports are kind of taking a back seat. And, college basketball's in the most eyes of the media. It kind of looks like things just kind of happen, and pretty crazy things at that.
Josiah will head to the free throw line for the Pepperdine Waves, down by 2 points. 27-25, Oregon State leads it, 7:49 to play. First free throw is good for Danilo Josiah, who, says he loves the competitiveness of basketball, and that's something that there's a lot of in this game, a lot of competitiveness, and Pepperdine is not backing down at all from the Oregon State Beavers. And here's his second free throw, and that is good, right over the top of the rim, rolls in, and it's 27-27. And a little full court press being applied by Pepperdine to try to disrupt this smooth Oregon State offense. Mertage, the first team all WCC player, has been quiet so far for Oregon State. No points yet. He's 0 for 2 from the field. Corner with DeMarco Minor. Underneath for Rataj. Cross-court pass out to Lake. Jump pass into the corner with Kings, and he rattles home another 3. Nate Kings, 14 points so far for number 7 in white.
Yeah, and that's his 4th 3 of the night. He has been heating up for the Beavs.
Oregon State in the all-whites with the black trim. Pepperdine all blues and the navy blue with the orange trim. Buffet, 3-pointer in the corner. DeMarco Minor comes to get the rebound, and that was a rush shot from Buffet. 30-27. Oregon State has the advantage. Minor ducks inside of the lane. Picked up his dribble. Lob pass underneath to Fala, and a whistle is blown. They're going to get a foul on Pepperdine. See who this one is on. Budka will pick up the foul for Pepperdine. Second team foul. Not a lot of foul trouble from either side. Oregon State has the advantage in the foul category in the negative way. They've got 5 fouls. Pepperdine has 2. And an inbounds pass to Rataj, and Oregon State back on their way with the offense. Down low to Fala, going against Koulibaly, and he scores with the right hand.
Yeah, we were talking about that post-bigs kind of matchup, and Fala just winning that easily. I think that added weight and just kind of backing him into the post really made a difference.
Foul called on Rataj as he picks up his first foul. Off-ball foul called on Oregon State. That's their 6th foul, so their next one will put Pepperdine at the free throw line. 32-27, inbounds pass, deflected out of bounds. So Buffet will try it again in front of the scores table on this right side of the court. Inbounds to Josiah going against Kings. Dribble handoff to Todorovic. Back out to Josiah, his 3-pointer. Back rim, no good. Fala gets the rebound, and quickly up the court, DeMarco Minor gets the pass. He'll stop his dribble at the top of the key. Kings in rhythm, 3-pointer, and he didn't turn his hips quite enough and missed the shot. And here comes Mo Odom, 32-27. Oregon State has a lead, 6 minutes to play. Todorovic hangs in the air, thought about a shot, gets it down to Koulibaly on the right block. Dribble hands off to Todorovic, step back, thought about a 3 again. He's yet to pull the trigger, though, on this possession. Mo Odom with 10 seconds to shoot, directing traffic, waving his arm in the air. Dribble drive to the right side. Cross-court pass to Dosic. Steps in, elbow jumper, way off. Kulabali got the rebound, and it did not hit the rim. And it's a shot clock violation on Pepperdine and another turnover. That's their second shot clock violation of the half. And it's still a 5-point lead for Oregon State.
Yeah, from kind of my angle, I thought it did maybe touch the rim, but yeah, that's just been twice now that, a shot clock violation. Those are really crucial as we're getting closer and closer to the end of this half.
Josiah Lake, top of the key, finds Minor on a little sidestep cut. Josiah Lake gets the ball back, and he'll shoot a three-pointer, and a foul is going to be called on the rebound. Kulabali came down with it, but Dosic is going to get called for a foul on a wraparound as Ratal is trying to go for the ball. And he limited his ability to run for it, and a foul on Dosic, and just the third team foul on Pepperdine. As they'll bring back Jackson Olvera into the game, and Dosic will hit the bench. Marco Minor, top of the key against Odom. Jab step, left elbow jumper. That's no good, and a rebound for Budka and the Pepperdine Waves. 5-point game with 5 minutes to play. Odom, sidestep. That's a lovely shot from Mo Odom. It's like he's floating out there when he gets that side hop step, almost like a running back with a jump cut.
Yeah, running back indeed, the way he's just able to kind of shift and move and try to score for the Waves.
32-29, Oregon State with the advantage. Minor on the right wing. Cross-court pass to Kings, who has been red hot so far. Down low to Rata. Double teams. Cross-court pass. Josiah Lake will drive in. And he stepped out of bounds a couple of times. We've seen that in those corners. The three-point lines have been pushed out, and a lot of these players just continue to step on the sideline, and another turnover for Oregon State.
A common theme for sure. Got to have some court awareness on kind of where you're stepping, and that's just an easy turnover just to rack up.
Absolutely. It's an easy turnover to rack up, but also an easy turnover to fix if you just keep track of where you are on the court. Todorovic comes to free on a screen, and he knocks down a three-pointer for Pepperdine, and that ties the game at 32 apiece. Just over 4 minutes to play.
Maybe I'm speaking too early, but I think we're going to have a really good second half here in this game.
It should be a really good rest of the way between the Waves and the Beavers. Down low, Fala pump fakes, gets Kulabali on his back, and it's an and one for Fala. Kulabali pounds his chest, but Fala gets the and one.
Kulabali has to stay down on his feet. And really, that goes for any big or any center on that. They're so big, standing at 6'9", 220, 6'10", 225. He's got to use that long wingspan and stay on the ground. The minute he jumps up, Fala's going to go right into him, and it's an easy call for the official every single time.
Isaiah C into the game, as well as Fala knocks down the free throw. As well as Alonzo Foray for the Pepperdine Waves, as Mo Odom brings it up the floor. 3-point advantage for Oregon State. Odom, top of the key, sizing up a three-pointer, and he got fouled. Will they call it on the shot? It's going to be against Fala. Probably not going to be on the shot. It's going to be a foul on the floor, but Pepperdine is in the bonus. It's 35-32. We'll get this sorted out on the other side of this break. It's a 3-point advantage for Oregon State with 3 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the first half. You're listening to WCC Tournament Basketball on KUGR. 3-point lead for Oregon State over Pepperdine. 3 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the first half. Both teams trying to advance to tomorrow to take on Santa Clara in the quarterfinals. And Josiah, we were talking at the break about how Michael Rattah is not having a good game at all by any stretch. He averages 17 points per game. He's got 0 right now throughout the first 17 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely can make a difference for sure. I mean, on the flip side, yesterday, Todorovic was kind of in the same regard where he's averaging 18, and he kind of struggled for sure. So, hopefully for his sake, hopefully he can kind of heat up for the Bees. But right now, it's a really close game right now, within 2.
Foray knocks down the free throw to make it a 2-point game. 3 minutes and 51 seconds remaining. Foray's second free throw rattles out. It was hanging on the rim, and it falls out for Foray, the Spanish big man for Pepperdine. 35-33, Oregon State in front. Minor will drive down the left side, and he lays it in easily with the left hand. And it's 37-33, Beavers with the 4-point advantage over Pepperdine. But the Waves not going away by any stretch of the imagination. And what we saw yesterday, the second half's their half. Odom with a good pass inside to Butka with the one hand, and a left-hand finish from Butka inside. And it's 37-35. Mo Odom, just a fantastic passer of the basketball. He is 5th in the WCC with assist-to-turnover ratio, about 2.91 ratio. Almost 3 assists per turnover he averages. Fala down low against Foray. Good hook pass inside, and Rattah misses the shot. And it's just been that kind of evening so far for Rattah. Right at the basket, still couldn't get it to go, but he did get hacked on the head. So he'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Yeah, Fala, battling in the post, but he definitely has some court vision as well and able to kind of move the ball around. If you get double teamed really quickly, you can kick out to maybe a corner 3, or in a great series just like that. With C kind of cutting down to the lane, and you can kind of dish the ball off as well.
Rattah misses the free throw off the back of the rim, and he's yet to score. He's the leading scorer for Oregon State. And that's just not great for the Beaver faithful, and he finally scores with a nothing but net free throw, and he's up to 1 point. And so maybe now he'll get going now that he's seen something go through the basket. 38-35, Oregon State has a lead. 2 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the first half of this third round game, the WCC tournament. 5-seed Oregon State, 9-seed Pepperdine. Mo Odom out top of the key. Entry pass to Foray. Going against Fala. Lost the ball off his knee. It ends up with Butka. 5 seconds to shoot. Todorovic with a hanging, floating jumper. No good. Kings gets the rebound. And an outlet pass up to C. We'll leave it for Rattah. Sizing up. Butka, entry pass to Fala, and a poke foul is going to be called on Foray coming over from behind Fala.
Yeah, great job trying to attack and go after the basketball on the Pepperdine side. But, when you're reaching 9 times out of 10, it's an easy call for the officials to get that reaching foul.
Especially with the big man, there's a lot of eyes down there on the paint. With those little tiny fouls get called more often than the big hacks when the little people are trying to get them on the big guys with the holding the ball up tall. Inbound to Kings, and he's fouled immediately by Pepperdine again. So back-to-back fouls, and that's going to put Oregon State at the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
Exactly the same thing for them. Back-to-back fouls. Yeah, you just can't get called on it, especially in that kind of paint area when you're getting closer and closer to the hoop.
Kings will go to the free throw line for Oregon State. The Salem, Oregon native went to McNary High School. There's first free throw off the back of the rim, and Olvera gets the rebound. So no points for Oregon State on that trip. 38-35 with the 2 minutes remaining in the first half of play. It's been a great first half of action from Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Todorovic with a jumper, and he gets fouled on the jumper, so he'll go to the free throw line. We'll see if they mark it a 2 or a 3. I'm going to say 3 free throws for Todorovic, so a couple of fouls on three-pointers from Oregon State. So Todorovic will go to the free throw line.
For the Waves, number 7, Stefan Todorovic.
And now he has an opportunity to if he does put in all 3, he can tie this game at 38 all, and we're within the 2-minute kind of warning for the half.
Todorovic has 16 points in this game so far, shooting 5 of 7 from the field, but 4 of those makes have been 3-pointers. First free throw for Todorovic, and he knocks it down. Cuts the lead to 2 for Oregon State. Zion Buffet getting ready to check in at the scores table. Todorovic's free throw is good. 38-37. Jackson Olvera will head to the bench, and Zion Buffet into the game for Pepperdine.
Todorovic already at 18 points, his season averaging. Make that 19 with that free throw already in the first half. So he could maybe be the difference maker in the final half.
Game is tied at 38 after 3 makes from Todorovic at the free throw line. He's 5 of 5 from the charity stripe. DeMarco Minor with a sidestep jumper from the free throw line, and an offensive foul is going to be called on Oregon State.
Illegal screen.
They're going to get that on Fala.
Yeah, Coach Tinkle standing at a huge 6'10", and he's 60 plus, so just kind of towering over there on the baseline, on the sideline, was not too happy with that offensive foul.
And a timeout is going to be called by Pepperdine, and we will step away for a quick break. It's 38-38 with 1:42 to play, all tied up from Orleans Arena. You're listening to WCC basketball on KUGR. Tie game with 1:42 remaining from Orleans Arena in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. The 2025 WCC Conference Tournament. This is men's basketball action. Pepperdine and Oregon State doing battle with the right to play Santa Clara tomorrow, with the winner getting that right. Mo Odom will snake through the lane and kick it out to Zion Buffet. Back to Odom. Underneath to Foray, going against Jonah Munch into the game for the first time for the Beavers. Foray will fire with the right-hand hook, and DeMarco Minor will sky for the rebound. That's a great rebound from the point guard in Oregon State, and he'll bring it up the right side of the floor, and he will find his way to the free throw line. That's his favorite spot on the court. Kings with the ball back to Minor. Swing it for C. Going against Budka. Drive in hard with the right hands. Picks up his dribble in the middle of the key. Back to Minor. 9 seconds to shoot. Screen from Munch. Left-hand dribble drive. Sizing up. Mo Odom spinning. Free throw line jumper. Minor rattles out, and a rebound for Foray. Game's still tied at 38, and Pepperdine has a chance to take the lead and possibly take the lead into halftime with this 9-seed Pepperdine team playing with a chip on their shoulder. 30 seconds to go. Odom just holding the ball, waiting to get this clock down to about 5 before they go to work, but they will get a cross-court pass. Pump fake against Kings. Three-pointer on the way. Back rim, no good. C fighting for the rebound, and Oregon State has it, and they can hold for the final shot of the half. And Wayne Tinkle's going to call for a timeout, and Minor will reward Tinkle's request, and it's going to be a timeout for Oregon State. 38-38 the score with 14.9 to go. And Josiah, this has been a really exciting first half. Oregon State trying to hold for the last shot, but Pepperdine right there in this game had a chance to take the lead right before the half. Missed that shot, but they got a really good look.
Yeah, they definitely did get a really good look with Buffet, hooking up that corner 3. And then, looking at the Oregon State side, now, Coach Tinkle and the rest of the Oregon State coaching staff, they can kind of draw up and chalk up a really good play here. And hopefully, that kind of final play going into half, it definitely can kind of be a momentum switcher, hitting a big shot maybe at a buzzer. It definitely gives you a little bit of hope kind of coming into the second half.
Yeah, this possession will be a big tell for how the second half could go, but it also could be the complete opposite, as we saw yesterday with Portland. they were up by a couple points at halftime, and then Pepperdine just stormed them right out of the gym, then sent them back to Oregon, where they're playing back-to-back teams from Oregon, so maybe they'll have a little more luck in the second half. But we'll see with this possession, maybe some momentum going for Pepperdine if they can get a stop, or if Oregon State can get a bucket, momentum for them going into the half and into the second half. And here we go with the inbound to Josiah Lake. 10 seconds remaining. They're going to hold for the final shot. 5 seconds to go. DeMarco Minor on the left side. Inside to Layla Vicious. He's going to fire a jumper, and it's in. With 1.5 seconds, he gets an and one, too. He hit the deck. He got fouled, and he hits the short corner jumper, and that's a lot of momentum there because it's a foul on Pepperdine. He made the shot, and he has a chance to get one more at the free throw line.
Yeah, that's huge for Oregon State. And, you know, with maybe this make from Lee Levicious, just a great shot to kind of start the end of this half.
40-38, Oregon State leads. Free throw, no good. 4 rebounds, and he's going to not really get anything off. And it's 40-38. Oregon State has the lead halfway down with one more half to go. And this should be a really exciting finish with the winner to play Santa Clara. And if this game is any indication of how the next game of the night should go, Washington State and LMU coming up after this game, we're in for a real treat here from Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. And it's 40-38. And we'll be back after this halftime break for the second half. Josiah Frank will be on the call with the play-by-play, and we'll take a break for halftime. You're listening to KUGR, the student voice of the Palouse.
And we are right back in Orleans Arena here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, for the second half matchup of this round 3 game between Oregon State and Pepperdine. Right now, Oregon State leading 40-38. And Davis, I just wanted to talk a couple minutes right before we start the second half, kind of about this guard matchup between David Major and DeMarco Minor. I think it's kind of funny, kind of the not David Major, Mo Odom and DeMarco Minor. I saw Major and Minor. I thought music or something like that. But Mo Odom and DeMarco Minor. Mo Odom on the flip side from the Bronx, this slashing guard that had an offensive juggernaut of a game yesterday to complete the second half to come back against Portland. And then looking on the flip side for the Beavs, DeMarco Minor, hailing from Chicago, having a great game as well, facilitating the offense, but being selfish when he needs to and scoring the basketball as well. So, Davis, how do you think these two are going to kind of compete mano-a-mano, point on point for the second half?
Well, I think that Mo Odom is definitely the guy that has the hot hand for the Pepperdine Waves. And on the other side, DeMarco Minor has been a guy that's been really aggressive so far in that first half for Oregon State. He's got 11 points for the Beavers, and then Odom has 10 points for the Waves. I think it's a really, really interesting matchup because of how similar of a play style they have. They both really kind of look to distribute first, but they can also be aggressive and really push the pace down the floor. Minor's done a really good job getting out in transition. You mentioned in the first half, Oregon State's bottom 300 in pace, but they've done a good job running the floor, and that's because of DeMarco Minor. And so if he's going to continue to be aggressive, his favorite spot on the floor at this point in the game has been the middle lane, about the free throw line, kind of towards the restricted area arc for the charge violations, where they're going to be right in that little arc underneath the WCC logo at the middle of the floor. And those are easy floaters for him, and he's got their number of times. And then Mo Odom, how can he just continue to shoot lights out if he's going to do that, or will he go cold? And that is going to be probably the biggest determining factor of if Pepperdine will win this game and continue to be this type of Cinderella story that we've seen in this WCC tournament so far.
And it's definitely Cinderella time, with March. It is the month of March. It is the month of college basketball. And we're going to get started with the second half of this great game. We had a great first half, and we are hoping to see more of it. And we're going to have Buka. It's going to hand it into Odom for the Waves, and that's going to kick off the second half. Odom guarded heavily by Minor. Looking for a screen by Coulibaly. Looks at it, doesn't use it. Couple swings around for the Waves. Todorovic thinks about a three. Kicks back out to Odom. Trying to size up Minor. Crosses him up. Kicks it back out to Dojic. His right wing three is good, and that's going to kickstart a lead. Pepperdine 41, Oregon State 40 as we just started this second half. And Oregon State's going to kick out the ball. Kings is going to end up with it. The Bees passing the ball around the arc. Minor's going to look at it. Looking for a screen by Falla. Great screen. It's going to entry to him. Falla in the post. Trying to back down, but he's going to lose the ball. Odom's going to end up with it. Odom crossing the WCC logo. Cars into the lane, throws up a right-handed floater, no good. Rebound Minor. He screams down midcourt. Minor trying to go all the way, throws up a floater, and it's way no good. Air ball. Todorovic is going to end up with it.
Yeah, that time a really good push from Minor, but a little bit out of control. He's done a good job in the first half with that type of play.
Todorovic, a great alley to Coulibaly, and that's going to put in a two-handed jam, extend the lead up by 3 as Pepperdine is going to be leading 43-40.
Yeah, Coulibaly is just a dunk machine. You throw it up in his long wingspans, he's going to grab that every single time.
Minor looking at Rata. Looking for Lila Vicious, gives it to him. Right three, fouled on the shot. It's going to be no good, and that's going to be 3 valuable free throws for Lila Vicious.
A couple of times in this game, we've seen now both teams fouling three-point shooters. And that's something that you cannot be happy with for either head coach. That's one of the pet peeves of all basketball coaches ever, is that
there's some kind of argument going on within the Oregon State team. Falla, Lila Vicious maybe, and Rata, they were kind of kind of chirping at each other a little bit. And I know everybody's kind of fired up. This is kind of, win or go home game for, really both teams. If you do lose, you do kind of go home. So, yeah, kind of looking at that matchup kind of on both sides as Leela Vicious puts in 2 free throws right down Main Street.
Yeah, I would imagine that Oregon State's probably a little frustrated that they are so close with Pepperdine at this point because of the seeding differential and how much of a better regular season they had than the Waves. But at the end of the day, it's March and anything can happen.
We're tied 43 all of Leela Vicious going 3 for 3 from the stripe. Odom's going to end up with it on the other side of the basketball. Odom looking for a screen. Thinks about the pick, doesn't use it, loses the ball. Coulibaly does regain control. Odom cross-court pass over to Dojic. Dojic to Todorovic, off his foot. Minor's going to pick it up. Minor all the way, finger roll, right-handed layup on the right side, good. But Odom on the other side is going to screen, try to go coast to coast as well. Odom pulls it back out, pounding into the earth. Odom swings over to Todorovic, his three-pointer. Left iron, no good. Amazing rebound by Minor.
Yeah, amazing rebound. He was about 4 feet up in the air when he pulled that ball down.
Minor looking to the post. Swings over to right wing to Leela Vicious. Ratad over to Falla, but there's going to be a foul on the ground. Looks to be Coulibaly, maybe? Yep. Going to be on Coulibaly on the ground. Fouls Falla. And Oregon State still kind of bickering within the team, but it looks like, they're maybe kind of ironing it out a little bit. We're tied. Oregon State now leading by 2, 45-43 with that finger roll from Minor. Ratah throws up a little 15-footer, no good. Rebound, Foray. Odom, other side for the Waves. Todorovic, top of the key, gives it back to him. Couple pinball action, and it's going to be Buka that's going to end up with it. Gives it over to Dojic, a little 10-footer, rattles in and out. Rebound, Leela Vicious. He's going to take it across the hardwood. Leela Vicious going all the way to the cup. Misses it, gets his own rebound, tries to put it back up, but there's going to be a foul on the ground.
Charge number 4, Alonzo Foray.
Both teams really battling hard on the glass, a lot of intensity. It seems like both teams know that this little stretch of time is the most important to see who can kind of come out and throw the first punch in the first half, and it's almost like both teams are punching each other in the face right now at the exact same time.
Minor to inbound on the right baseline. Minor looking to get something happen. Almost gets a 5-second violation. They get it in quickly. Leela Vicious is going to end up with it. He's in the corner, sizing up Foray, goes baseline, and goes right to the cup. Goes right at him. Oregon State's going to lead by 4.
Yeah, you can just see a fire in his eyes as he was waving players off of him to try to get a one-on-one.
Dojic is going to give it over to Odom, who kind of carves into the right elbow, gives a great dish over to Todorovic, who's going to miss that layup. On the other side, we got Leela Vicious, corner 3, off the iron, rebound Odom, screaming down court. A lot of land. He's going to pull up for a 3, nothing but net. Familiar territory for Mo Odom.
Yeah, Leela Vicious on the Oregon State side is trying to do it all himself, and that time it was a bad miss because it allowed Odom to go right down the floor. It was not a friendly miss for Oregon State.
Separated by a cent. Oregon State leaving 47-46. Minor tries to look for Falla, but it's batted away as he's falling down. Odom, cross-court pass to Todorovic. He's going to throw up a right elbow, and that's going to fall in. Todorovic, the leading scorer tonight, and he already has 21 already above his season high of 18. Kings is going to end up with it for the Beavs. Top of the key looking for Minor. Falla, not usually the ball handler, gives it to Leela Vicious. Looking for a screen by Falla, doesn't use it. Quick spin move to a finger roll layup by Leela Vicious. Oregon State now leading by 1, 49-48, 15 minutes left in this second half. Dojic looking at Todorovic. Todorovic gives it back over to Odom. Odom guarded heavily by Minor. Swings it into Dojic, but there's going to be a foul on the wood, and that's going to be our first of a couple media timeouts. And Davis, just wanted to wrap a little bit about kind of what are you seeing that is different from this first half that we had? It's still going very back and forth right now. We're just a point apart, nearly at 50 for both teams. But yeah, what are you seeing, if anything, is kind of different from both of these teams?
Well, what I'm seeing right now is that Oregon State has kind of realized that it's not Michael Rattau's night. The first team all WCC selection, their leading scorer in the year, just with 1 point. They've kind of just completely removed him from the offense, and they're going forward with the rest of the 4 players. And Pepperdine's still trying to guard Rattau, almost like they think he's going to be part of the offense, and so it allows Lilavicius to try to get to the rim. They're trying to get Fala going on the outside, which I think he should be probably closer into the rim, being the bigger player against the Koulibaly that's a little bit skinnier when typically guarding him out there. But it seems like Oregon State's kind of realized that it's not Rattau's night. They're not going to put the ball in his hands unless he's absolutely the necessity on offense. And I would argue that they should be hammering him to try to get him back in this game. He's your leading scorer on the year. You got to get him going with just 1 point. It's almost like they've just put him aside and said, just stand over here and draw a couple defenders.
Yeah, Davis, I don't know if you saw this as well. I think because of that, I think there's starting to be a couple of quarrels like within the team. I know we talked about it, especially at the very beginning of the second half, but Fala was kind of going over to coach, and I don't want to use maybe a word like maybe complain to coach, but definitely talking to head coach Wayne Tinkle kind of about some quarrels that are kind of going on within the team. So I don't know if you saw that, but I think that maybe could also kind of be a factor as well.
I think there's a lot of passion in the Oregon State organization that wants this game to go their way. They have only played this one half of basketball in the WCC tournament. Pepperdine got a full game in yesterday, so Oregon State coming off that rest, and now they're trying to battle through this Pepperdine team that nobody really gave a chance against Portland, and now here they are playing a really tight game, just down by 1 point to Oregon State, and the Beavers feel like they should be up by a lot more than this against Pepperdine. So it seems to me like the arguments per se that maybe are going on for the Oregon State team is all probably very constructive and just demanding more out of every player. And I think they understand that if they don't do something about it right now, it might be too late by the time the game rolls down under 10 minutes, under 5 minutes when it's crunch time, and they need to get these things sorted out right now where there's still about 15 minutes left in this half.
Yeah, head coach Wayne Tinkle trying to iron out the details for the Oregon State Beavers in a very close game with the Pepperdine Waves. And the first horn's going to sound, and we're going to break out of this media timeout in possession favoring the Waves. 49-48 ball game. We're a quarter of a way through the second half, and Bethea is going to inbound the basketball for Pepperdine. Bethea looking for Odom's going to give it to him. Off the screen of Forhay. Odom slashing into the lane, throws up a floater, no good, but a great rebound over by Buka, who's going to put in the putback, another 2, and gives Pepperdine a 1 point lead. Minor looking for Rattau, that leading scorer for the Bees that has been pretty much silent tonight. He's going to go a quick handoff to Kings, who's going to drive to the cup, ultimately gets fouled, and he's going to go to the line.
Yeah, King's averaging just 11 points this season. He's got 14 for Oregon State, their leading scorer. He's knocked in 4 out of his 5 3-point shots, and so that's kind of the guy they've looked to come off those rounding screens on the baseline and those catch-and-shoot threes. He's done a really good job in that possession. We just saw it. Rattau got the ball on the outside, passed it, and then stepped away. There was really no threat from Rattau to come in towards the lane, and that kind of removes one player where Pepperdine might not even have to worry about him.
King's first free throw will go through the orange circle. As, looking at kind of the score sheet, Minor at 13 points, Kings at 14, Fala at 9, and Lee Levicius at 12 himself. But, Rattau with a single point made, as that second one is back iron, no good. But a great rebound by Lee Levicius, trying to get the hands of Buka off of him. He does, and hands it off to Minor. Resets the shot clocks and gives another offensive possession for the Bees, but actually, Lee Levicius is going to step on that sideline, which has been a common theme for teams throughout the tournament, and it's going to be Pepperdine ball. Odom and the Waves up by 1, 50-49, 14 minutes left in the second half. Swings it over to Todorovic, who's going to drive heavily and strong to the cup and finish for 2, sending the lead to 3. Minor, guarded by Odom, mano-a-mano. Swung around behind the arc for the Beavers. It's going to be Rata. Drives to the cup, and it's going to be fouled, and he's going to go to the stripe. Back-to-back free throw appearances for the Beavers.
For the shot, number 13, Douglas Gupta.
Yeah, just to continue to talk about Rata and his limited night tonight, just as far as the presence goes, he's 0 for 3. He's only attempted 3 field goals in this game, and his only point has come from the free throw line where he's shooting just 50%.
And he's actually not going to shoot. They're going to call it on the ground. Minor's going to inbound over to Lila Vicious. Quick swing to Rata. Gives it a follow in the post, and he's going to do a little half spin right to the cup and adds 2 for the Beavs.
Yeah, Follows had a good night. A lot of good post entrances to him, and as soon as he catches that in rhythm, it's game over for Pepperdine. He's so good in the post.
Odom uses the screen by Todorovic. Gives it off the roll to the handoff to him. Todorovic, guarded by Rata. Todorovic, long 2, nothing but nylon. Extends the lead to 4.
I think they're going to call it 3. His foot was a little bit behind, but that's something they might go back and review. It was really close.
It looked like a long 2 from here, but yeah, it definitely could have been a 3. And they're up by 4. And then on the flip side, looks to be maybe a foul on the ground. Yeah. Yep, it's going to be 4A. He's going to get called on the ground. And if I heard that right, 4A does have 4 personals already. And, racking them up really early, and we're not even the middle-way point of this second half. Minor to inbound for the Beavers. Gives it off to Rata. Guarded by Dojic. Throws up a fadeaway. Bad shot, no good. Fight for the rebound. Odom's going to end up with it. Odom streaming down court. Handoff to Todorovic. 3-ball. No good. Great rebound by 4A for the put-back layup. The Waves now lead by 6. 12:34 left. And that's going to be a timeout by Coach Tinkle and the Oregon State Beavers, now down by 6 points. And Davis now, the kind of momentum has maybe shifted a little bit. I don't know if you saw that into Pepperdine's kind of side.
Yeah, it feels just like yesterday where the momentum just starts to kind of slowly push towards Pepperdine, and then all of a sudden they're going to get on this really hot streak like yesterday, and it's a 6-point advantage for Pepperdine. Since that last timeout, Oregon State really hasn't done anything to extend their ability. They were up by 1 at that timeout. Now they're down by 6. So where does Wayne Tinkle decide to go now? Because Rata still hasn't done anything for this Oregon State team, and where are they going to go? Because the offense has been coming slowly in this second half. The beginning of the game, they were shooting lights out, and I think they realistically should go back to the 3-point line. They're trying to get it inside, but it's taking so much time to get there. The half is kind of wasting away, so they need to get these 3-pointers from Kings probably on the corner. But I think Oregon State's in a fine position as long as they continue to come back within a reasonable amount of time. If it takes too long, Pepperdine's going to go on this hot streak that they've just been on an absolute tear through this tournament so far.
Yeah, Pepperdine being one of those teams that once they are hot, they are screaming hot, and they will not slow down for anybody. That's kind of the mentality you have to have, when it comes into these conference tournaments, and the WCC is no exception at all. We're going to take a very brief break. You are listening to more WCC basketball here on KUGR. Right back in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Josiah Frank here with Davis Hagen calling more WCC basketball tournament action. The Pepperdine Waves leading 57-51 against Oregon State. Oregon State's going to have possession of the basketball, though. Couple quick passes. Fall is going to end up with it right block. Quickly double team. He has to heave it over to Minor. Minor heaves it back over to Josiah Lake. He's going to huck up a three, no good. And Odom's going to bring it back up for the Waves. A familiar tale for Pepperdine. Odom. Hounded by Minor. He's going to try to blow past him. Go straight to the cup with a little up and under finger roll. And Minor not too happy about that play as Odom's going to add another two and now extends the lead to 8 for Pepperdine. Minor. Guarded by Odom. Leela Vicious looking over to Kings. And he loses the basketball, but it is going to be a media timeout, and it's going to stay with Oregon State and the Beavers.
Tinkle, you see we're there talking to Foley. He's really imploring him. He's got his hand on his shoulders. He's talking to him, and Oregon State's just scrambling to try to find anything to go right for them.
Yeah, they almost have like this kind of panic look on their face. They're like really scared to kind of like, make shots or try to score, and they're almost like a deer in headlights, and you really can't do that against any team, and especially a team like Pepperdine. And, Mo Odom just kind of did what he's kind of been doing in this tournament, scoring and kind of getting to the cup, and he just did that, and it's really not going too well right now for the Beavers. They got to switch something up and switch it up fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Down by 8 points to Pepperdine, and they've reached the under 12 media timeout. Somebody's got to step up for the Beavers because they've taken Rata out of the game. They subbed him out. They put him on the bench, and he's really been ineffective even when he's in. So somebody else is going to have to step up for them. Their second leading scorer of the year is Parsifal with 12.7 points per game. He's had a good night so far. He's got 11 points, but somebody else is going to have to step up in a big way, not just here and there like Leila Vicious was trying to early in this second half, but he's kind of gone quiet as well. So somebody's going to have to step up for Oregon State. Who is it going to be? We don't know.
We really don't know. And we're going to take a little bit more time for the rest of this media timeout, but just stay there. You're going to be having the rest of the second half of Pepperdine and Oregon State listening to more WCC basketball on KUGR. Right back with more WCC tournament in basketball. The Waves and the Bees going at it right now. A spot to survive and have a shot at the big dance and the national championship. Minor's going to inbound the ball for the Beavers, who right now are down by 8. Minor inbound to Kings. Looking at Leela Vicious, gives it to him. Josiah Lake's going to end up with it. Lake guarded by Dojic. Quick swing over to Leela Vicious. Hucks up a three. No good. Rebound. Bethea. Hand off Odom. Odom and Minor. Mano. Looks for a screen by Todorovic. Todorovic is going to end up with it. Todorovic in the post, pulls it back out. Odom's going to get it 10 on the shot. Odom looking for another screen by Todorovic. Fakes the screen. Todorovic, either a long 2 or a 3. Doesn't matter. It's no good. Quick rebound by Josiah Lake. Lake. Entry. Over to Munch. Munch is going to make a nice little post move. Gets fouled. He's going to go to the line and hopefully put up 2 free throws, which are much needed for Oregon State.
And they've got Rata at the scores table ready to check in, and Tinkle patted him on the back, and I can only imagine that he told him that, like, you got this, like, be yourself right now. You've only got 1 point, but we're going to need you down the stretch, and so we'll see how he can do once he gets into this game.
Munch hasn't seen a ton of time tonight, and that free throw is off the iron and no good. A couple new Bs checking into the game. Rata checking back in, as well as C. Isaiah C is going to check into the game. The Frenchman, Jonah Munch from Denmark, his second free throw. Up, over, good. Cuts the lead down to 7. Odom leaves it over back to Todorovic, gives it right back to him. Taking their time right now as we're nearing 10 minutes within the second half. Pepperdine up 59-52. Todorovic looking over at Bethea, gives it right back to him. He's at the top of the key, trying to make something happen. Cars into the colored of wood, kicks it back over to Dojic, who hooks up a 3, and that one's going to go in.
And now Pepperdine up by 10 points. Oregon State has to find something, and they got to find something quick.
62-52, waves the commanding lead over the Beavs. Rata, who's been silent tonight, gives it over to Minor. He's going to hook up a 3, a prayer, no good. Rebound wanted to be Munch, but it's going to be an offensive foul, going to go the other way, and the Waves are fired up about that. Dojic and Odom high-fiving each other, and they are ready to go. They are locked in and trying to kind of put their teeth into the necks of these Beavers.
Timeout, Pepperdine.
Pepperdine's going to take a timeout, though. And, yeah, Davis, what did you kind of see on that? I don't know if you saw Odom talking to Dojic, really trying to lock in, and, it's kind of do or die time for everyone, but especially for a team like Pepperdine where, if they don't start winning these games or don't make it to, the championship of the WCC tournament, their postseason hopes are pretty much a wrap. So I don't know if you saw anything differently kind of within that.
Yeah, it just feels like exactly like yesterday did, where Mo Odom and his teammates just feel it. They know that their confidence at an insane amount of confidence. It's off the charts because they don't even really know what to do with it. They just make buckets. That's what they're putting it out in the offensive form instead of keeping it in and trying to play aggressive defense or something. They're feeling hot and they're just firing the ball up and it's going in. So there's not a lot you can do if you're Oregon State, because when Pepperdine's feeling like this, they are just unstoppable. And it's almost just like everything for Oregon State's going wrong. But on the other side, Pepperdine knows that everything can go right. So they're taking a little more chances maybe than they would normally if their things aren't going their way. But it's been so impressive to watch this Pepperdine team once they get confident. The early stages of these first 2 games they've played, it seems like they're kind of waiting for something to happen, and then it's Mo Odom that makes a play, and then they're off and running. But it's kind of like Odom needs to kind of turn on the engine of the car first, and then they can start driving.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to end this time out as we're going to go in possession of the Waves. And yeah, for Oregon State right now, Davis, who's the guy that really needs to step up right now? I know we're talking about Rata, but who do you think can step up really quickly in this game?
Yeah, I think Kings, he's on the bench right now. He's got to get going again. He's been quiet in the second half as well, and they took him out when they subbed Rata back into the game. I think they got to get him back in there, probably their best three-point shooter.
Odom's going to end up with it off the inbound. Looking to make something happen. Directing traffic, cross-court pass to Bethea. Has all the time in the world for a corner 3. It's going to rattle over the cross of the rim, and it's going to be no good. But it's going to stay Pepperdine basketball. It looked to be maybe Lake had a hand off that rebound. Didn't matter. It's going to stay Wave ball. Odom to inbound. Right baseline. Gives it over to Todorovic, who barely gets it over to Bethea. Bethea gives it over to Odom on the left wing. Back over to Todorovic, top of the key, 10 on the shot. Cross-court pass over to Bethea, who does a little step back, doesn't shoot the ball, gives it to Todorovic, 3 on the shot, rattles off. A big rebound by Jonah Munch. Miner's going to end up with it, though. Goes coast to coast, right to the cup, and one opportunity for the Bees. Now we have a 62-54 ball game. A replay over on the big screen, and just a great job of Miner trying to connect with that contact as he goes through the strike.
Feels like forever since Oregon State has scored a bucket in this game. They were on a couple 4-minute scoring drought until that shot.
His free throw is up and in. Odom's going to get it back, and now we got a 62-55 ball game. Oregon State losing to Pepperdine. 9 minutes left in this half. Odom directing traffic as usual. Throws up an alley and kind of a prayer over to Butka, who kind of loses it, but it's going to stay wave ball.
Butka's got 4 fouls in this game with just under 9 minutes to play. It'll be interesting to see if Oregon State maybe tries to attack him to get him out of this game.
Oh, yeah, and it said Foray, Butka, as well as Koulibaly, who hasn't seen a ton of time, I think, in this half. They all have 4 fouls right now, and that's kind of a scary thought for Pepperdine. If Oregon State does heat up, it could be scary. Todorovic, 15-footer fade away, rattles in. Takes a couple jumps on the rim as that goes in, extends the lead to 9. Miner, other side with the Beavers in their white with orange lettering. Nearly stolen away by Odom. Great defense. He finally does poke it out. And Bethea's going to end up with it, and Miner's going to foul him, either Miner or Josiah Lake. Another foul for the Beavers, but yeah, just a great defensive set for Mo Odom and the Waves. Miner's going to check out, probably only for briefly, as these Beaver starters are just going to have to take just maybe a minute or two and complete this game, because this game could be their season. Bethea to Odom. Odom taking his time, 8:30 left, 64-55 in favor of the Waves. Pepperdine. Odom taking his good time, just standing still on the hardwood. Finally now moving. 14 on the shot clock. He's going to huck up a 3. Takes a huge bounce off the rim and over the backboard. Going to be Beaver ball.
Or Oregon State bringing in Nate Kings with when Miner went to the bench. We'll see if they try to get him going on the maybe 3-point arc to try to get something sparked for Oregon State.
Lake bringing up the rock, guarded by Odom. Hands it off over to Kings. To C. C to Fala in the post. Double team, and the ball is intercepted by Bethea. Quick handoff to Odom, and he's taking his time again. Now 7:45 on the game clock. Odom, guarded by Lake. Looking for a screen by Koulibaly. Uses it, looks at the roll, doesn't give it to him, gives it to Bethea. Pump fakes a 3, carves into the lane, throws up a fadeaway, and that's going to rattle up and in. Lead now 66-55. Pepperdine leading by 11. Nearing 7 minutes in this half. Kings trying to carve into the lane, but guarded heavily by Odom. Hounded, and Odom's going to get called for a foul, but great defense, though, on the defensive side for Mo Odom, and it's kind of been a testament for him. We're going to take a break. We're inside another media timeout. Take a little commercial break. Take a pause. You're going to be listening to more WCC basketball here on KUGR. And we're right back here in Orleans Arena for this third day matchup between Oregon State and Pepperdine. Right now, Oregon State kind of looking very grim, and it's kind of, I don't want to say now or never time. There's still 7 minutes on the clock, which is a lot of time in basketball, but they maybe want to start heating up sooner than later against a really good and streaky hot Pepperdine Waves team. Kings is at the line. He's going to shoot 1 and 1. The first one's going to rattle up and in. Cuts the lead down to 10. 66-56, 7:17 on the game clock. Kings is second. He's also good. Buffet, quick handoff to Odom. He's going to split 2 defenders. Screaming up the hardwood. Pulls it back out, though. Odom looking to make something happen. Hands it over to Dojic, who's kind of been a silent contender. Back over to Kolobali, who gives it to Todorovic, who hooks up a shot and kind of rattles in and off. Minor's going to get called for the foul, though. Throw it in for the Waves. Waves swinging around the arc. Todorovic all the way to the cup. Airballs the layup, looking for a foul. Doesn't matter. Kings is going to take it on the other side. And Kings tries to hook up a shot for Kolobali, and he's going to get that swatted away. Odom's going to end up with it for the Waves. Pulls it back out. Odom guarded heavily by Kings. Gives it over to Dojic, left wing. Now gives it over to Todorovic. Todorovic trying to hook up a fadeaway midi, and that's going to go in. Complaining about another foul, but it doesn't matter as it goes through the cup. 68-57 ball game, 6:14 left. Minor back into the game for the Bees. Head coach Tinkle trying to get something going for the Bees offense. Kings ends up with it. Follow in the post, double team, doesn't matter. Jump hook up and in, and a good timeout by Tinkle and the Oregon State crew, as now they cut that lead down to 9. What did you like about that little jump hook, kind of that post move between Fala, kind of double team by, it looked like, Todorovic as well as Kolobali?
Yeah, I really like the fact that they went down to Fala inside when nobody else has really gotten anything going in the second half to try to get something at the paint inside the bucket. You know, get it easy bucket. So try to get something through the hoop to try to look at something go through and get confidence that way instead of trying to hope for a 3, which Kings is their best three-point shooter of the evening. He's got to get going too. So at some point, you're going to have to shoot him and make them. But I like the fact that they went inside to follow to try to get him going. Their second leading scorer and their first leading scorer has been almost non-existent in this game. Rataz still just 1 point in this game and only 4 shots.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the statement right there is really yikes. And it's kind of been yikes for the Oregon State crew, but for Ata himself. And he's kind of looked almost timid, a deer in headlights. Those could be even understatements. Dojic's going to inbound the ball to Bethea. Gives it back to Odom. 5:55 left in this game. Pepperdine leading 68-59, leading by 9. Todorovic gives it over to Bethea. Thought about a three, doesn't do it. Gives it back to him. Todorovic going right to the cup. And it looked like Leela Vicious thought he blocked the drive from Todorovic, but it's going to be called for a foul. And we're going to see if it was maybe right before the layup. And it doesn't matter. He's going to go to the line and is going to shoot 2. 5:41 in this game, 68-59. Pepperdine leading. Todorovic, his first. Strikes it in.
31 points for Todorovic in this game, and Pepperdine just on an absolute tear in this tournament so far. They are playing with some sort of fire under them that hadn't been seen yet in this entire season. They only won 4 conference games, and they're about to get half of those if they can hold on to this lead against Oregon State in just 2 days.
His second, also up and in. That's going to be Olvera's going to check in, the Houston native. Now 70-59, Pepperdine leading by 11. We're within or nearing 5 minutes. Minor, guarded, hounded by Bethea. Quick screen over to Kings. It's going to be no good for that 3. Rebound batted away, going to be wave ball. Bethea to Odom. Oregon State kind of in this kind of do or die, now or never situation. Dojic looks at Butka, gives it back to Odom. Odom to Olvera in the post. Not a huge in the post, but guarded by Leela Vicious. Kicks it back out. 3-ball Dojic, no good. Rebound Fala. Minor's going to end up with it. Spin move right to the cup, but it doesn't matter as Dojic is hands straight up in the air, and that's going to be sent into the stands, but it's going to stay Beaver ball.
There are just a lot of things that can go wrong in a game, and a lot of it has to just do with the way the ball bounces, and Oregon State's just not getting any friendly roll from either a shot or getting the ball deflected out of bounds. Almost everything's going against them.
Anything friendly has not been on Oregon State's side. It's going to be Ratag, gives it right back to Kings. Kings to Fala, right in the key. And oh my goodness, a hard foul. And what could have maybe started a fight. And I don't know if you saw in that foul, was right straight behind the backboard, but a very vicious, maybe hard foul. I don't know if it was a flagrant, but the Oregon State fans are definitely fired up for sure. And I don't know if that, did you see if that was Dojic maybe on that hard foul or Butka or Olvera? I couldn't really see it, but a very hard foul. And the official's going to take a look at it. It's probably going to be maybe at least a flagrant 1. If most, maybe could be a flagrant 2. But yeah, the fans definitely getting fired up about that.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember who it was jumping on the back of Fala, and then when he fell down, it was like he was just so frustrated the fact that he got fouled. He kind of ripped through something and then slammed on the ground. So a lot of that had to do with Fala on his own doing, but it'll be interesting to see exactly what happened if we get a replay, because I don't exactly remember who it was that jumped on the back. There was a lot of chaos down there in the paint. But that is just something that you can't have in a game like this where it's been kind of chippy both ways. Oregon State mostly just chippy inside of their own locker room almost, where they're yelling at each other throughout this game, and then the fans not happy about it at all. I mean, that was the loudest the crowd's been all game, and the band was chanting to throw them out of the game. The fans behind us were chanting that. So we aren't getting a look at the replay, but the referees are going to review it. They called an intentional foul. We'll see. Definitely a hard foul as Fala hit the ground really hard, and he's up and looks to be okay as he's in the huddle wiping his face with a towel, but that was a really hard foul.
Yeah, the officials kind of getting in the middle of it, didn't want it to escalate any further, with any fights or, pushing it and getting scrappier at all. But a hard foul to say the least. Officials still kind of waiting, and we're going to see if we're going to get a call from the head official at the scorer's table. Yeah, fouls like that can definitely kind of change momentums of the game. And, Pepperdine, who had been scoring and doing very well right now, leading by 11, you wouldn't want a break of this momentum, have the players kind of just standing around to kind of change that. And we're going to get some type of technical foul type of free throws. Fala is going to go to the line and still waiting for that overall call.
Fouls on number 10, Jackson Olvera, a flagrant 2.
Wow.
He has been ejected from the game.
Wow, and Olvera's going to go to the locker room. A flagrant 2 sits him out. Fala's first of the flagrant free throws is going to rattle up and in. And yeah, Davis, did you think that was a flagrant 2?
It looked like it. We didn't know exactly who it was, but it was a very hard foul, and it was not within the realm of basketball, just sportsman-like plays. He just ripped him down, and it was a really hard fall. And I think a good job by the officials to call the flagrant. Flagrant 2 is definitely a, something within the realm of that they can call, but that ejects a player. So a really serious call from the referees that don't want any escalation from that play at all.
Fala knocks down the second one. Kings is going to end up with it on the inbound. And there's going to be another foul on the ground, not a flagrant 2. Going to be looks on Buffet. 70-61. Pepperdine still leading by 9. And now Kings is going to go to the line because they're also in double bonus. He's going to have 2 free throws instead of the 1-on-1 situation. The first. Knocks that one down as well. Kings with 16 of his own. Looking at the score sheet, yeah, Ratas still at that single point is just kind of insane for him. Knocks down the second one as well. Odom. Now these Oregon State fans kind of heated up a little bit. Odom almost loses the ball. Splits 3 defenders. Pepperdine up by 7. Still a lot of time left with 4:30. Todorovic. Cross-court pass over to Odom. Looked at Buffet in the corner. Doesn't give it to him. Back over to Todorovic. He's going to huck up a 3 off the front iron. Odom's going to rebound it. Pump fakes a 3. Tries to go into the middle of the left side, pulls it back out, and Todorovic is going to end up with it. Resets the shot clock off that miss from Todorovic. Odom, 7 on the shot clock. Gives it to Dojic. His 3, also no good. Couple fights for the rebound. And it's going to be Oregon State ball. Minor's going to end up, Fall's going to inbound it to Minor. Now Oregon State and their fans, as well as the band, cheer section, and everyone else in here wearing orange, kind of fired up to see what's going to happen. Leela Vicious looking at Fall in the post, doesn't give it to him. Minor, top of the key, hounded by Odom. Swings it back over to Dojic. Looking to foul in the post. Going to be on a foul on the ground, though. Fall would have had that easy lay.
Stephon Todorovic is first.
And it looks to be Todorovic is actually going to be called for the foul. And we're going to have another media timeout. We're going to take another short break and be back with the final minutes of this game that is getting closer and closer. You're listening to WCC Tournament Basketball on KUGR. And we are right back with the last couple minutes of this basketball game. The game preceding Washington State versus Loyola Marymount. But right now we got a great showdown between Pepperdine and Oregon State. Two good teams, with Pepperdine leading the pack right now 70-63. And first free throw by Falla is going to be up and in, cuts the lead down to 6 for Pepperdine. His second, 3:44 on the game clock. Front iron, no good. Rebound by Bethea. Bethea, hand off to Odom. Cross pass right back to him. Bethea looking for Odom, gives it to him. 3:30 left in this ball game. Odom directing traffic, looking for the best possible shot. Bethea's going to huck up a left wing three. It's going to be right iron, no good. Rebound Minor. Minor guarded by Todorovic. Odom kind of pushes Todorovic out of the way. And Dozic is going to end up on him. Entry pass to Falla, double, triple team. It's going to be blocked. Falla is screaming for a foul from the official. And there's going to be no foul. Odom's going to end up with it. 70-64, 2:53 left in this game. Odom nearly at the division line, taking his time with the lead. 2:45 now, 10 on the shot clock. Still taking his time. Pounding into the earth. He's now going to go. Looking for someone. A great dime over to Koulibaly, but the shot clock violation is going to sound off before he can do a little spin move and jam it in. Unfortunately, in another shot clock violation for Pepperdine.
Although it was a great play from Koulibaly, he's got to realize that the shot clock was down to about 1 second, and he doesn't have time to do a dunk. Got to be able to just lay that up.
Minor draws baseline, kicks out. Leela Vicious, corner three, and this place has erupted, and Beaver fans are happy. It is a 3-point ball game, 70-67, 2:15 left, and now we have a timeout by Pepperdine, and everybody wearing orange and black is fired up. And we got it's getting a little louder in here. And looking on the big screen, Minor going baseline, single-handed pass over to Leela Vicious. Left corner three, up and in, and he is fired up. We're going to take maybe just a second or two break for a quick timeout. And actually, that first horn is actually going to buzz. We're going to stay right here with you in this loud venue of Orleans Arena, getting ready for these final 2 minutes and 14 seconds of this game. Win or go home. Lose, you will go home. And nobody definitely wants to go home, especially in the month of March. And there's a little bit more life kind of in this arena. And we're ready to go for these final, 2 minutes.
As when this game's ending, the next one will start. So both teams, all 4 teams of this venue for tonight's games in the men's bracket are here. So there's a lot of extra fans that might not have been here if this game was a little bit earlier in the day.
Todorovic is going to alley it over to Koulibaly, who throws up a little pump thing and goes up for the layup. He is going to be fouled. Leela Vicious is going to be called for the foul. And now Koulibaly has some big free throws within crunch time for the Waves. Koulibaly shooting 2. A lot of pressure on the redshirt senior. His first. He knocks down.
Nice 64% free throw shooter on the season. He had a couple big free throws yesterday against Portland. Still in a big spot, though, here.
Pepperdine still leading 71-67, up by 4. His second is also down Main Street. And he's happy about that.
Yeah, he's John with Falla. I would imagine that this possession, if it goes down to Falla, something big's going to happen down there.
Yeah, they are chirping the two bigs, 6'10 and 6'9. Minor. Quick swing over to Kings. Hits 3, no good. Great rebound by Bethea. Looked at Odom, doesn't give it to him. He's going to finally end up with it. We're within 2 minutes. Hounded heavily by Minor. And yeah, that is going to be a foul. They help each other up, though, after the foul. Odom kind of tripped over his kind of feet after that foul by Minor. Great sportsmanship by the two there.
Yeah, Oregon State's just panicking at this point in the game. Down low, chirping with everybody, and then as soon as that ball got missed, Minor was just hounding Odom to try to get the ball back, and they're just seeing red trying to get the ball back. They are definitely not in rhythm.
Odom and the Waves now in bonus. He's at the charity stripe, trying to extend this lead. 1:40 left in this game. The free throw's no good. It was a 1-on-1 situation. Minor's going to end up with the board. Must need points for the Bees. They are in crunch time. Minor guarded by Odom, screened by Fala. Minor at the top of the key, trying to draw to the cup. Gives it Lila Visha. Corner three, no good. Rebound, but falls down and loses track of the rebound. It's going to stay Beaver ball. Lila Vicious trying to repeat that corner three. Missed it, but they a great rebound, but had to retain control of the basketball. Now Minor's at the left baseline. 1:23 left in this game. Pepperdine leading by 5. Minor looking for Kings. Left wing three, rattles in and out. And now Kolobali's going to get the rebound, nearly stolen away by Minor. He tried to bat that ball away, try to club it out of his hands. Odom's going to end up with it, taking his good and sweet time. 1:10 left in the game. Oregon State now in a very dire situation. It's a 5-point game.
1 minute.
Odom, final minute. Odom gives it over to Kolobali. He's in the pose, and he's going to get fouled. He's going to go back to the line. Fala unhappy, and now Oregon State with some maybe missed free throws here. If not, it could be nearing the end for the Bees, but still 56 seconds left, a lot of time.
5 fouls. They're going to call it on Layla Vicious, so he's out of the game. Oh. Probably Oregon State's best player in the second half offensively, and now he's hitting the bench as he's just fouled out of the game. Instead of calling it on Fala, they get it on Layla Vicious, and they're both right there in the middle. And so ultimately for Oregon State, that is not what they wanted to see with Layla Vicious going to the bench with 56 seconds left. That's just not good.
Yeah, Layla Vicious hitting that corner three just a minute ago. Now Kolobali, more big free throws for this senior. His first, knocks it down. Not fazed by pressure of this WCC tournament. 73-67, Pepperdine leading by 6. 56 seconds, on the game clock. His second of the two. Up, over, no good. Rebound Kings, and Oregon State's got to hurry. Minor, guarded by Odom. Minor, carving to the lane, goes to the cup. A great block, but it's going to be called a foul, and Minor's going to go to the line for 2 free throws. 47.9 seconds left. They did a great job of kind of moving down the court extremely quickly. Time and clock situation, and there's going to be a little bit of a discussion with the head official as well, with head coach Ed Schilling of the Pepperdine crew, and trying to kind of figure it out. It's definitely not a timeout.
Yeah, they're foul. Kolobali is fouled out of the game, and they're going to have to get a new player in there. And Oregon State's taking advantage of this time when Pepperdine's deciding who they want to have come into the game, and it's kind of stealing a timeout in a sense, with Tinkle drawing something up for his guys. But now Kolobali's fouled out for Pepperdine. Both teams with a lot of fouls, and their players sort of one by one just leaving the game after being disqualified because of their foul limit.
Buka also with 4. Minor's first free throw. He's going to knock that one down. Cuts the lead down to 5. Both teams with a single timeout apiece. The second, up and in as well. And now we have a 4-point game. 47.9 seconds. Dojic's going to inbound for Pepperdine. Pepperdine gives it over to Todorovic. Double team nearly stolen. And a very quick foul by either Rata or C. Now he's going to go to the line, and Todorovic, not the guy to foul, averaging very good numbers from the free throw line. 84% shooter, highest on the team. Oh, and it looks like Odom's actually going to get called, and he's actually going to go to the line. The worst of the two in free throw shooting. Big free throws for him. 73-69 ball game. Pepperdine leading by 4. 46.4 seconds left in the ball game. His first, no good off the iron. Rebound Kings. Oregon State's got to go, and they got to go quick again. Minor over to Kings, back to him. Kings is going to end up with it. Heaves it over to Ratah, who's been silent tonight. Ratah for Minor, 3-ball. Rattles up and out. Fall is going to end up with an offensive rebound. He's going to miss the layup, and Minor's going to put it in after that miss. And a quick timeout for Oregon State after that quick make for Minor. Now we have a 2-point ball game, 73-71, with Pepperdine up now just by 2.
Yeah, I don't know how he got that shot off. That is crazy. He was getting double teamed in the air, caught it on the miss, and then shot it up again. Follett knocked over Mo Odom trying to get the rebound, and then Minor came out of nowhere to get that. It was right in front of us, but there's a lot of stuff in our way with the band and the stanchion right there. I don't know how Minor got that shot off to cut it to a 2-point lead for Pepperdine. What an impressive play, and there's just so much tension in this building. You could cut it with a knife. It is so high energy in this building. It is amazing. This is probably the best game of the entire weekend coming down to the wire between the 5 and 9 seed, and we're not even into the semifinals where St. Mary's and Gonzaga playing. This is the kind of quality basketball you see in the WCC. These teams are so evenly matched year in and year out, especially adding Oregon State and Washington State into the mix.
Yeah, the tension is about as thick as you can make it. And Davis, right now, if you are Coach Wayne Tinkle, what are you maybe chalking up as a play right now? You know, he did call a timeout, but it is Pepperdine basketball. On the defensive side, what are you maybe chalking up for your squad?
Well, I think you got to realize first that there's still 27.4 seconds left in the game, and so Pepperdine going to inbound the ball from down on their own side, so they have to get it over the top to Oregon State side within 10 seconds. So you're going to try to get a steal first, and if you don't get one within maybe 5 or 6, and Pepperdine's about halfway down the floor, you're going to try to get that 10-second violation, and at about 17 seconds, if you don't have that 10-second violation, you're going to need to foul immediately to get the Pepperdine Waves to the free throw line. But if you can get a steal first without fouling, that's what you kind of have to tell the refs is we're going for a steal. We're not going to immediately foul because they're going to be quick to the whistle if you don't tell them that. So they're going to try to get a steal first and then foul if that time just starts to run out.
Booker going to inbound it for the Waves. Looking for Todorovic, and he's going to get called for a foul. But Oregon State and the rest of the arena wanted a travel as he kind of tripped over his feet. It looked to be maybe there was a foul first before he got control of the ball. And now Todorovic, the very good free throw shooter, is going to go over to the line. Todorovic now with 27 seconds even on the game clock. Shot clock is taken off.
Yeah, that is not what Oregon State wanted at all. Cy was chasing down Todorovic as he was trying to get the inbounds pass, and he just ended up falling on the ground.
His first he knocks down, as usual, the 84% free throw shooter. Minor checking back into the basketball game, and Odom is as well. Now, just up by 3 now.
And only 0.4 seconds came off the clock. So ultimately for Oregon State, not the worst thing to possibly happen, but definitely not what they wanted.
3-point differential from both teams. Todorovic, the second one, is up and in as well. Now it's a 4-point game, 27 seconds left. Odom, Minor's going to scream up court for the Beavs. Got to huck up something quick. Gives it to Kings. Kings over to Ratah, and that's going to be over to C. Hucks up a 3. No good. Amazing rebound by Minor. Yep, amazing rebound by Miners, but it's going to be, they kind of land on the ground, him and Bethea.
Yeah, they're going to get the foul on Bethea.
And it's going to be a foul on Bethea, yeah, on the ground. And now Miners going to go to the stripe and try to put in some much-needed free throws. And now you're in a probably better situation.
To line, Marco Minor, 2 shots.
He's going to have 2 shots. Want to maybe make the first, miss the second or something like that. Makes the first. So now you're in a situation where now it's a 3-point ball game, 75-72, 17.3 seconds left. Really close game. Minor on the line for the Bees, and that one's up and in as well. 2-point ball game. Buka to inbound for Pepperdine. Gives it over to Odom. Nearly fouled by C. Isn't fouled. and is finally fouled over by Isaiah C. Now Odom, not the best free throw shooter, is going to go to the line for Pepperdine and try to extend their 2-point lead with 14.1 seconds on the game clock. Mo Odom, the all-star of last night's game. Can he do it again? His first is going to rattle in. Not the best free throw shooter, just shooting a little over 60%. And now it's a 3-point game, 14.1 seconds on the game clock. Pepperdine leading by 3, 76-73. Josiah Lake checking back into the game for Fala. He's either going to take a breather or that might be it for him for the night. Oregon State out of timeout. Pepperdine with a single. Odom's second free throw. Taking his time. Up and in. Odom knocks down both. Now it's a 77-73 ball game. Gives it into Minor. 13 seconds on the game clock. Minor, quick handoff over to Kings. Kings looks at Lake, gives it back over to Minor's, got to score quick, drives all the way to the lane, doesn't make it, but Thay's going to end up with a rebound, and Pepperdine's going to have it, and that's going to be your ball game. Pepperdine sneaks out with a win, 77-73, kind of a heart attack thriller that kind of came to the wire, and Pepperdine is now moving on again and shocks a great Oregon State team that had beat Gonzaga just a month ago.
Wow, what a game from Pepperdine. Upset fashion again. They beat Oregon State, who a lot of people, including myself, thought they could be a sleeper to maybe win the WCC tournament, and they lose in their first game against Pepperdine. What an amazing performance again by the Waves, and they just continue to ride this wave of momentum through, and just a crazy game overall.
We're maybe debating. And that's the ballgame. Officials were maybe talking about if there was a foul, just a couple seconds left, but it doesn't look like it. And teams are kind of going through the lines and shaking each other. But yeah, it definitely a shocker for most people, as Oregon State, if they would have maybe won the WCC, could have been a sleeper even in the tournament, beating teams with the likes of Gonzaga. But that's not going to matter now. Their season's going to look a lot different. And now we don't really know if they're going to go to the NIT or other types of tournaments. Really don't know how their season's ending up with losing in their first appearance in the WCC tournament.
Yeah, it's going to leave a really bad taste in the mouth of natives of Corvallis and Oregon State fans around the country. Really good season, one of their best seasons, their best record since 1989 in the 80 season, and just not the way they wanted to end their season at all. But for Pepperdine on the other side, continuing to just rise to the occasion every single time, and they're going to be partying in Vegas once again, and they'll take on Santa Clara tomorrow. That should be a fantastic game between the Broncos and the Waves, with both those teams can absolutely fill it up on the offensive side, and they shoot the three really well.
Extremely well indeed. But yeah, just wanted to reiterate what a great win by the Pepperdine crew. And Davis, I think it really went through a couple of players. I mean, of course, basketball's a team game, but Stefan Todorovic, and Mo Odom, who's the all-star last night and might not have been the leading scorer tonight, but definitely facilitating the game. And when it got into crunch time, knocking down two crucial free throws for the Waves crew. And Davis, what do you expect to see from Pepperdine now moving on to the next round of the tournament?
Yeah, I think when a team like Pepperdine gets hot, you can't expect anything less than their best effort going forward. And something else is going to happen tomorrow, whether it's going to be crazy or not. They're going to give Santa Clara a run for their money. And that's just kind of what you get in March with teams like Pepperdine that were kind of counted out in the regular season. It's definitely going to be a great game tomorrow evening against the Santa Clara Broncos.
Yeah, David, and that's kind of wrap up kind of this game. It was definitely going down to the wire, a great game, but all in all, it's just another showcase of a really good Pepperdine crew, has a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to try to wave it all the way out to the championship game. And we're going to take a little bit of a preview over to our next game, which we should be back within the hour, pretty much probably about a half hour between Loyola Marymount, the Lions, who are 16-14 overall, 8-10 in conference, ranked 7th in this tournament, and your beloved Washington State Cougars. We've been calling a lot of basketball, but now we get to finally call our hometown Cougs, our friends, our teammates, our fellow students, and we finally get to call Cougar basketball. Davis, what are you most excited and looking forward to see the Cougs face off against the Lions?
I'm just excited to get to see them on the court once again. They haven't played since last Saturday, and this team can really hopefully ride some momentum after getting that 6th seed in a double bye. Loyola Marymount coming off a game yesterday that was a great performance against San Diego, but it's going to be a great back-and-forth contest, and I hope it's just as good as this Oregon State Pepperdine game was.
We can't wait to cover more basketball, and now we get to finally cover Washington State and the Cougar basketball team. We're going to be back within about a half hour. Thank you for listening to that Pepperdine-Oregon State game. Pepperdine winning that game and moving on to the next round. You're going to be back listening to more basketball here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, here on KUGR.